Hey everyone, today we'll be making Tekkamaki. This is the tuna sushi roll. If you need to know the number of bands used per item, you can click on the link below. It'll take you to the recipe page where all the ingredients for this creation is listed. So let's begin. We have our black rubber bands for the seaweed, our white rubber bands for the rice, and our colored bands for the flavor. I'm using fuchsia bands right now for tuna, but if you wanted to have a different flavor like tamago, the egg, you could use yellow, or green if you wanted to make cucumber rolls. Oh, I forgot, this roll is only made on 8 pins, so if you have a monster tail, it works perfectly in the monster tail. But today I'll be showing you how to make it on a regular loom. Now take your loom, remove the second row, and then we'll be working with these 8 pins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We take 2 flavor bands, colored bands, and we're going to take two bands and triple wrap them on the 4 center pegs. So 2 bands triple wrapped on the center pegs. Do it this way. It's easier to turn with my hook. So this is 1, 2, 3. Another 2 bands. Triple wrap. Another 2 bands. Wrap once. Wrap twice. Another 2. Wrap once. This is twice, and there. Now we begin with the white rice bands. 2 bands. You take it from here, make it an X all the way to here. And then you take another from here to here, but I like to make them intersect so it's a little tighter at the center. So take your hook, put it in between the 2 white bands of the first X, grab the 2 white bands, pull it through, put it on this peg, twist to the other side. And that's the first, and that's the center. Now you take your flavor bands, your colored bands, grab them on your hook, lift them up and over the peg, on all 4 pegs. If you don't get them all at once, you can always go back. Get that. Other side. More. And that's your center. Push everything down. Now we'll take another 2 white bands, make another X from here to here. This one first. Push it down. And another one from here. Push it down. Other side. Here. Two bands from here to here. And that's your initial setup. Okay, for the first rice layer, take a single band and we're going to lay them around the 8 pins. So 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you will take the outer 4 pins will have 2 white bands under, while the inner 4 pegs will have 4. So on the outer pegs, grab the 2 lower white bands, hook them up and over. Inner have 4 lower bands, up and over. And over. Push it all down. Now we're going to transition from the rice to the seaweed portion. This is from here to there. And a good way to make it clean so you don't see the white going through the black bands, we weave the black bands through. Okay, this is how you weave. You get 2 black bands. On the first peg, put your hook in. Grab the 2 black bands. Lift the white bands off the first peg. Replace that with one end of your black bands. Remove the black bands off the hook with your other hand. Go to the right peg and lift the white bands off and replace that with the other side of the 2 black bands. You do that process all around. Let's go to the next. 2 black bands. Grab your hook, pull it through the white. On the left side of the black bands, excuse me, put it on the previous peg. Take the black band off your hook with your free hand. Lift the white bands off the peg to the right and replace it with the other side of the black bands. So I'll do it with you one more time. 2 black bands. Grab it with your hook. Pull it through one side of the black bands. Put it on the previous peg. Remove the black bands from your hook. Lift the white bands off the peg to your right. And replace that with the other side of the 2 black bands. So repeat that process and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so we're now on the last two pegs. You have your two white bands on your hook. Grab the two black bands for this last two pegs. Pull them through your white bands and put that on the last two pegs. Push everything down. Now each peg should have 4 bands. Okay, next step is we're going to lay double bands all around the 8 pegs. Okay, so every peg now should have 8 bands, and we're going to take the lower 4 bands, hook that up and over each peg. One. And now that we just completed our first row of the seaweed wrap, repeat the laying of the double black bands 5 more times and come back when we have a total of 6 rows. Okay, so now we've completed 6 rows of the double black bands all around, and your roll should look like this. Now we're going to transition back from the seaweed to the lower rice portion. Now we're going to have to weave white bands all around, but we're going to start weaving single white bands. So enter the first peg, grab the white band. You may need help lifting the black bands off the first peg because it's like 4 bands versus 1 white. Put one end of the white band on the peg. Lift the white peg off your hook. Remove the black bands on the peg to your right and replace it with the other end of the white band. Next, another single band. Pull it through the 4 bands on your hook. Put one end of the white band on the previous peg. Remove the white band off your hook. Remove the black bands off the peg to the right. Replace it with the other side of the white band. Again, white band. Pull it through. Put one end on the previous peg. Remove the white band off your hook. Remove the black bands off the peg on the right and replace that with the other side of your white peg. I'll do it one more time. White band through the 4 hooks. Put one side on the previous peg. Remove the white band from the hook. Go to the peg to the right and remove all the black bands. Replace it with the white peg that came from your hook. Now continue that and I'll meet you at the end. We're now at the last 2 pegs and you have your 4 black bands on your hook. Get your last white band. Pull it through. One side on the previous peg and on the other side, on the last peg, place the other side of your white band. And this is how it should look. Okay, 2 more layers to go. Create another rice layer, but with single bands. We're gonna lay them all around. Okay, at this point, your pegs should have 4 white bands on each one, and we're going to hook and lift the lower 2 white bands up and over each peg. Push everything down. Now for the last layer, we go back to the colored bands. So whatever your flavor is, this side. Get my colored band, single layer all around. Now we take, after you've laid that out, take the lower 2 bands, lift them up and over each peg. Now we have to tie this off. Push everything down. Take 3 of your colored bands, and with the first 2, create a slip knot, one on top of the other. Fold the first one over, grab other one there. Then with that one, get your third one, do the same. So you have 3 slip knots, and we're going to use this to tie the sushi together. What I like to do is I like to place one end on a free peg on the loom so I don't have to hold it the entire time. Grab your hook, put it through one peg, pull the tie band through, lift that off the hook. Next peg, you can pull it from the peg, or you can lift it off and pull it through like this. Pull it off, get your tie, pull it through, whatever is easier for you. Just move it down, it's more slack. Lift it up. And just tie it off all around. Oops, sorry. Last one goes through. And we're done. Pull it off. Okay, at this point, it would be good if you had a crochet hook to help tighten and fix your roll. What you can do is, don't tie it off yet. Just try and make it even on both sides. And if you can get a clip, like I'm using a stitch marker. They use this if you knit or you crochet, it just marks your spot. But you can use an S clip or a C clip, paper clip, anything, or pin, just anything to hold it together so it won't unravel. Now you're going to turn this inside out. And you have to shape everything. Get the top portion. Get the colored bands together. Then move your clip. Tie this off. Try to reshape it and try to push the white rice bands in as much as you can. So, one last step. If you notice on the lower portion of your sushi, you have the colored band that's still sort of going around. What you're going to do is get your hook, go through one, grab the end of your tie band, and sew it in. It's like you're pulling that ring closer to the center. Next ridge, bring it in. Next, bring it in. Bring it in. Next one. Bring it in. Till you get to the other end. Bring it in. And you can tie that. You can bring your hook through. Kind of grab those ends. Bring it inside. Shape it some more. Whoops. Too much on this end. Now, you have your sushi.